Top dog, buy them all, yeah, I'm burning it up. DPGC, you should be turning it up. CPT, LBC, yeah, we hooking back up. And when they bang us in the club, baby, you got to get up. Cuz homies, thug homies, yeah, they giving it up. Low lie, yo lie.
Where is the best city in Australia to meet women? I am in that city right now, and if you've been watching my channel, you'll know where I am right now. If you haven't and you're new to this, my channel, click the subscribe button. Before kicking it off, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. Top link in the description to get some coaching with me, and my autobiography is in the description as well. So, where is the best city, my opinion, best city to meet women in Australia? Well, I'm in Brisbane. And this is the first time I've ever been here. I am shocked. I'm pleasantly shocked and surprised, and I feel privileged to be in such an awesome city. Sydney and Melbourne are full of narcissistic, arrogant, rotten, not all, but the vast majority women. They are the type of women you do not want to get into a relationship with. You definitely do not want to get married to, and it is flooded with them in Sydney and Melbourne. And because I've been living there forever, I never really realized how bad it was until I saw Brisbane. Let me just try to clarify this a little bit better. They're not as narcissistic because social media is not that important, because they have a real life. The girls up here in Brisbane are happy to have a conversation with anybody in the street. It feels like more of a small town, but if you have a close look up there, there's massive city. It's a massive city, but it has that small town feel, even though there's over 2.2, I believe, million people here. It's half the population of Sydney, but it still feels like a small town. Which means, what happens in a small town? Well, you speak to your neighbors. You get on a bus, and the person next to you might actually say something to you, and you're expected to say something back to them. And if you don't say something back to them, have a conversation with someone on the bus or the train, or in a cafe, or in the hotel lobby, etc., you are the rude one. Whereas in Sydney and in Melbourne, if you try to start up a conversation with a stranger on a bus, train, in a cafe, in public in general, you're crazy. Because these cities are way too busy. People are way too overworked. They've got way too much on. They're stressed. They're always running late. They're running from work to the gym to home to get food, to run. There's just too much going on in Sydney and Melbourne. It causes all of the women to be stressed. Also, on top of that, they spend way too much time on their phone looking at social media, because then that builds this narcissism within them. They think they're better than everybody else, or at least their insecurities make them want to project that. So if you go talk to them, they're less likely to want to have a conversation with you. Just more rude, more fast-paced. The lifestyle is terrible in Sydney and Melbourne compared to Brisbane. Brisbane, I can literally have a conversation with anybody and they talk to me. That means if you want to meet a girl for, something short-term, or a girlfriend, or even a wife, you're gonna have more opportunities to start a conversation with her in Brisbane. This is an amazing place. Loneliness in Sydney and Melbourne are huge problems. Elderly people get lonely and they die in greater numbers because of this loneliness. And it's because of the hustle and the bustle of Sydney and Melbourne. Up here, if you focus on game, your open rate, your success with starting a conversation with a girl up here is exponentially greater than Sydney or Melbourne. In Sydney or Melbourne, the narcissist women down there, They will look at you and they will not talk to you based on your attractiveness level, the way you're dressed, etc. Up here, there's a lot of guys wearing thongs in the city. Now, it's not hard to compete in that type of environment. All you need is a nice pair of shoes, you wear a shirt and some shorts, and you'll fit in just fine. If you dress just a little bit above them, you can compete on the fashion level so well. Fashion is not a problem up here in Brisbane, especially to compete with the guys. Secondly, the guys don't really approach. The coaches up here are some of the shittest coaches in the fucking world. They have no idea what they're doing, and therefore their students up here are not really taking the right action, so therefore there's more girls for you. If your open rate is better because people are more friendly, therefore you get into more conversations. If you have even intermediate game and you are grounded as a man, you will have more opportunities to get the girls that you're interested in. And it is, I've only been here a couple days and I haven't been focusing on game for myself. I've been focusing on my client's game. And my client has had massive success, and all I've done is I'm like, hang on, look, this is an approach for Dave. Give Dave an approach, you know, and I go and make an approach. I've already had a few dates. It's been amazing, the success rate with girls above my mate value up here in Brisbane. Brisbane is by far, I just got to put it out there, Brisbane is by far the best city in Australia to meet women. If you're looking for a girlfriend or a wife, this is the city to go. Don't go to Sydney or Melbourne, those narcissistic, arrogant, disgusting cities. Come to Brisbane. I might move here. It is I am surprised at how friendly the people are. I will say that friendliness comes at a cost. Late at night, the police do not do their job. I have seen drunk people fighting in the street as soon as the sun goes down, massive all-in brawls, and they don't arrest the right person. The police do not do their job up here. Or there's just too many people to arrest. I don't know, or it's something wrong with the culture up here. So there's pluses and minuses to everything. Up here, if you're going clubbing all the time, the chances of you getting beaten up are far greater than Sydney or Melbourne. Sydney or Melbourne, late at night, it's safer. I feel safe walking at 2 a.m. in the morning in Sydney or Melbourne, but up here, as soon as the sun goes down, I wouldn't walk down any dark alleyways because I've seen so much violence and bloodshed, and I've seen incompetent police not doing their job up here, which is it's a real shame because they have some great nightclubs, they have a nice nightlife, they have some beautiful waterfronts that really could go off if they just kept it safe for everybody. And what I see is a lot of police standing on the corner, like guarding areas, but it's as if they can't keep the place safe even with such a large police presence. But in Sydney or Melbourne, there's such a low police presence. You don't see police everywhere, and you don't feel unsafe because there's police everywhere. Having police everywhere makes you feel unsafe because they're there for a reason, right? And the amount of violence I've seen at night. So if you are a night gamer and you specialize in that, it might be very dangerous for you, and just be wary of that. Be very careful when you go out late at night. You could find yourself getting punched in the head for no reason. I and my clients have come very close to being beaten up. We've had guys try to fight us, etc. It can be very dangerous late at night, I will say that. But apart from that, during the day, catching a bus, catching a train, going to a cafe, going to the shopping center, it is a friendly city. So therefore, when you open up and with a conversation starter, any conversation starter works up here. You can get into the meat of the conversation with any girl, and she will be way above your mate value because they're not as narcissistic and arrogant and aware of their mate value as they are in Sydney and Melbourne. So I definitely recommend it for that, for getting girls above your mate value, and the open rate of you starting up a conversation. If you have even the most basic of game, you should be able to get into the meat of the conversation and push that interaction forward. I definitely recommend Brisbane for that. It is by far the best place I have been in Australia to meet and attract and find girls to date. Now that I've been up here, I'm starting to think I might even move up here. If I was going to get married, this would be a place where I would find a wife. From my experience, the girls up here are far more wife material than any girls in Sydney or Melbourne. They are trash, narcissistic, arrogant, dodgy women to be dealing with. And compared to up here, there's a lot of good homey, wifey material girls up here in Brisbane. I recommend it. And that's pretty much what I want to talk to you about today, because I'm so impressed with this city. I'm so impressed with not just the city, it's more the people and the environment. That might change in the future, but right now in 2021, it is by far the best place for you to go if you want to get yourself a girlfriend or a wife. So if you like this video, click the subscribe button. If you want some coaching with me, like what I'm doing here in Brisbane, I'm doing an immersion up here with a client, and we're practicing the sweet art of cold approach. That's what we're doing. We're pounding the pavement, we're meeting girls in the street, in the clubs, at night, etc. If you want to do some coaching with me, top link in the description. And if you want to see my autobiography, it is in the description as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video.